Here we go with another linear equation, and we have this nice little situation here. In fact, this word should be situation. So we're going to write the equation for this situation in standard form, and then graph it and interpret the intercepts. Interpret the intercepts. That's an interesting phrase. Okay, so standard form. Let's clear this out. So standard form is ax plus by equals c. So essentially, you're going to have that x and the y on one side of the equation, the constant number on the other side, and it's not the slope intercept. So it's not going to be y equals mx plus b. So standard form for this is going to use the boat rental for X days and this key information down here, which is that the boat is $250 for each of those X number of days, each of those however many days that we rent the boat. So 250X, because it's 250 times that number of days, plus, and then we'll use Y days at $50 a day. So 50 times however many numbers of days that we rent the scuba gear. And all of that's going to add up to the total spent, which is $1,000. So to graph this, I would use intercepts. I think that's almost always the easiest, simplest way to graph when it's in standard form. So let's say 250x equals 1,000, because for x-intercept, for the x-intercept, we want to completely ignore the y value. We're treating it as if y was 0, which makes it vanish from the equation. So we'll divide by 250, and that means x is 4. So our coordinate point is 4, 0. So if we just count by ones here, so that would make this our x value. And then for y, doing the same for now for x, we're treating x like it's 0, which means it completely goes away because 250 times 0 is 0. So we have 50y equals 1,000. We divide both sides by 50, and y is 20, which is perfect for this graph because it goes up to 20. So if y is 20, that means that is our y-intercept. And so to graph, to sketch the graph, I would go from 4 on the x-axis to 20 on the y-axis. And notice that this is just a one quadrant graph. Think about why. This is, we're spending money. We're not going to extend into the other quadrants because that would be a negative number of days and potentially a negative amount of money that's spent, and that's just not a practical application for this. Okay. So what do the intercepts mean here? Remember that x was the number of days that we rent the boat for. So that means, we could rent the boat for 4 days with no scuba gear. So that is possible. That would spend the full $1,000. 4 days times $250 a day, that's $1,000. Or we could, so let me be more specific, boat for 4 days, no scuba gear. Or we could have scuba gear for 20 days, but no boat rental, right? That's what that means. That 0 is saying 0 boat rental days. But you got the scuba gear. So if you can get out there, somehow you can use the scuba gear, but you won't have a boat rented on any of those days. And so, these are the extremes. And understand that anywhere along this line that's graphed would be within your budget. So let's pick one that looks like it's pretty close. Now, I don't know exactly. We could do the math and figure it out, but just to understand the intercepts a little bit better. So that's at what, 3 days for X. X is the boat rental. So we could rent a boat for 3 days, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then this is the scuba gear days, and potentially have scuba gear for 5 days. So we can see if that works. Think about 3 days times X, so 250 times 3. That's $750. And 5 days times Y, or times 50, that's 250. Yeah, that adds up to 1,000. So that would work. That is a solution to our equation, but it's also a solution to our question of what could work here. So using the intercepts gives us a nice graph that then helps us to know that these are any point along here. These are showing, places where we could spend that $1,000. And so most we can rent the boat for is 4 days, or we can have scuba gear for 20 days, but not both for $1,000. All right, I hope that's helpful. See you next time.